the zebra look the way
Welcome
it does?
to the Daily Movie Review. Today's movie in question is Dream Scenario, starring Nicolas Cage. Came out this year, of course, and directed by the wonderful Christopher Borgli. Now I'm going to get it out of the way right now. I really liked this movie. I thought it was great. I think Nicolas Cage is excellent when given the chance to truly stretch his acting chops like in this movie, and especially when he's written to play a depressed, beaten down, middle-aged, past his prime teacher. As specific as it sounds, he's great in the role. So just to start with a little plot synopsis, this movie follows Paul, Nicolas Cage, and his life as he's randomly inserted into people's dreams, and it's a nationwide thing. People all over the world, in fact, are finding this random, everyday guy throughout their dreams, and Nicolas Cage has to deal with not only the popularity, but the consequences of said popularity in his newfound dream appearances. This absolutely hooked me as soon as I heard it, and once I saw the first trailer, I couldn't help but think I need to go see that as soon as possible, and this movie absolutely surpassed the expectations that I had for it, which were already pretty high. And I know it'll come as no shock, but one of the best things about this movie is Nicolas Cage's character himself. He is absolutely pathetic, and you sympathize with him throughout the entire movie, and you just once want to watch him win. And through this entire hour 40-something minute movie, he does not win once. He's constantly fighting for his book to get published, for his wife to take his side on arguments, for this dreaming thing to stop hurting people and giving them negative perceptions of him. He's fighting for all these things, not constantly throughout the movie, but in periods throughout the movie, and he's losing every single battle. And him losing so often really makes the viewer sympathize with him, and by the end of the movie, I was actively rooting and hoping that he would just take one W, and he did not. I'm just going to go ahead and jump into spoilers and deeper story aspects right now, so if you have not seen this movie, please go see it in theaters. It is absolutely worth your time, and if you can't, then just wait. Every single A24 movie is coming to HBO Max, so we're looking up. So one of, if not the best scene in the movie, is when he goes to the company to try and pitch his book, to try and get them to publish it, and it turns out they just want him for ads. That scene where he's talking to people half his age, making double his money, doing way less work than he is, and trying to explain to them why he wants to and can write this book about antisocial behavior is just so depressing, because you can tell they do not care. They want to market the dream guy as drinking Sprite and talking to Obama in his dreams, and you really do feel for Paul, because he so badly wants to just be a normal dude who had this one crazy thing happen to him and kind of births a successful career out of it, and he just can't. Watching that thought sign go back and back and back behind his head really just, it's kind of obvious visual metaphor, but I really do appreciate, if for anything, just how it looks in the movie, because it's a very, very nice looking scene. It's snowing or raining or whatever it is outside while it's happening, and it just makes for a very moody, atmospheric boardroom. Now, one of the other things that makes Paul so likable is how unwavering he is in what he wants. Even though he's a depressed, middle-aged man who's past his prime, you can tell he is willing to fight tooth and nail for what he wants. A good example being the book in the studios, and also his insistence on going to his daughter's play after he starts being the Nightmare Man instead of the Dream Man. He is constantly fighting this teacher, saying it'd probably be best if you didn't go. All the kids are scared of you, and all the parents have had bad dreams of you, like, torturing and killing them. And his unwavering uncaring for it is so accurate to how you'd probably feel in this situation, because, as he said, I'm being outcasted for nothing. I'm being outcasted because these people don't like me. The school is giving every one of my students a semester-long break because I gave them nightmares. And you really do feel for him, because he feels so beaten. He already feels so, like, destroyed, and all of this being thrown on top of him just feels wrong. It just feels horrible. And even after he's done being the Nightmare Man, after he rips the teacher's hand open on accident, even then, you still feel sad for him because, I forget who says it, but someone, I think it was Michael Cera's character, Trent, basically says, you missed your chance to do all these things, man. Now that you're not showing up in people's dreams, and now that it's like open tech, and the ad in the middle of the movie for the open tech that lets you go into people's brains was very funny. Now that it's just a normal thing people can do, you're not special, you missed your book, you missed all this stuff, you lose everything. And he still gets his book tour, he still goes to Paris to sign books and a light bulb hits him in the head, but that isn't what he wanted. He didn't want to write a book about being the Dream Man, he wanted to write a book about being a biologist, and he just couldn't. He wasn't allowed, because he was the Dream Man, and nothing would change the fact that he was the Dream Man. And now that everyone can do it, he's not special anymore, gets discarded like it's nothing. And what really helps aid this crushing feeling of loneliness and depression is the cinematography. This movie, each frame captures that loneliness and that total confusion and lack of knowledge that Paul's character, or Nicolas Cage's character, is going through in almost every scene of this movie. He's trying to figure out, what do I do to make this thing last? How do I branch this off into other things? And he just can't manage to do it. I really appreciated how often Zebra showed up in the movie. As silly as it sounds, he's teaching it at the start, he's reading a book about it later on, and he mentions over and over again, the zebras are vibrant colors so that they stick out less when they're in a big pack. And I love how it loops back into his character being such a nobody that he fits in perfectly with the pack, and even though eventually, he becomes famous for a little while, once it becomes a little wristband you put on to go astrally project into other people's dreams, he's really just another zebra in a pack of zebras. And the zebra metaphor takes the movie so far on what you think would just be a little throwaway teaching lesson at the start. And the end of the movie, those last 10 minutes, are some of the saddest, most private feelings of just grief a person can feel. Seeing Paul sit down and astrally project to his wife and have one last good time with her, save her from the fire, just to spend time with her and say, I wish this could last forever. As he floats into the sky and kind of probably says goodbye to his wife forever, is just such an excellent way to end the movie. And I know it's not the same, but it kind of reminded me of The Whale, because at the end of The Whale, Charlie finally realizes, it's time, I've taught her what I wanted to, I'm done now. And in a similar way, Paul in this movie does something pretty dang similar. He goes, I've done what I was needed to do, I wrote a book on this, I helped advance tech 150 years into the future, people can advertise in the dreams now, I'm done. I'm gonna write my little book, I'm gonna get out of here. And I'm probably looking into it too much and probably completely wrong, but this is what I think the movie ends with, and I think it's a beautiful way to end a remarkably sad movie. So just kind of closing thoughts on this movie. I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. I think you would definitely enjoy it if you're still watching. And please go watch it. The music fits the movie perfectly. Obviously links in the description for all the credits for all the people that I use videos for. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the cinemas.